Hey, what's up everyone? What I have pulled up on my screen pretty much sums up what this video is going to be about. This will be my official saying goodbye to Elementor for use within my agency. So what that means is clients come to me and say, I need to build a website. Ryan, we're going to trust that you're going to build with the tools that are going to get us where we need to be and be successful and scalable, maintainable, all those things for the future, then Elementor is not it. So this is going to be a detailed run through of how I've come to this conclusion, and I need to put a bow on this and be done with it officially. A lot of people talk about mental health in the being an entrepreneur, an agency of one or a couple, and it's a real thing. And I've had a real go of it here with the tool that I chose to latch my agency on, hinge my business on for the past 6 years or so. So since Elementor first came out, I moved over to it and was all in. But here of late, it has taken a mental toll. Not gonna lie. I've been through the ringer with this platform, this tool, and I'm done. So my overall goal with this video, if nothing else comes of this, is to just warn agencies that are considering what tool to use going forward, to warn agencies about what I've faced, and let them take from that and make the best decision for their business, right? But at least I've said my piece. I've even as Elementor has said, I've came at this from an angle of caring. If I didn't care, I just wouldn't do any of this stuff. I would just ride off into the sunset, find a new tool, and not do any of these videos, do any of these blog posts, any of that kind of stuff. But I think it's important that this gets out there. And if nothing else, I got to get it. I'm getting it off my chest. And this is the final video. I think I've said this before. This is the final video. And yeah, that is what it is. Okay, so real quick, you'll look on my YouTube channel for WP Turned Up. I just started this channel recently, and one of the reasons I wanted to start it was because of this stuff I'm facing with Elementor. I started a playlist called Awareness, and one of the goals is just to bring to light some of the stuff as an agency that I am facing. That's the not so shiny object stuff. The real life agency struggles with just running an agency or the software you're using or whatever. But as we see here, 50% of my videos already are Elementor issues. It's kind of like a series that covers issues, a specific issue with their AI and stuff like that. But it just can't be that way. I don't want it to be that way. That's not what I wanted this channel to be like. So, it's something's got to change, right? Anyway, so I wanted to point that out. I want to get back to the tutorials that I do on my other channel, which, I've got hundreds of videos over there. I want to get back to just doing tutorials. Still doing the awareness thing, but just not having to do so much and harp so much on one particular tool over and over again. But it just plays such an integral role in what I'm doing. That's why there's so much coverage on it. Okay, so let's run through this. Let's first talk about releases and features. Okay, Elementor's core features are still severely lacking, yet they continue to introduce new features that the overall community often does not ask for. So what I propose, somewhere in the roadmap, somewhere in the plans, I don't really care anymore. Because this video, I just don't care anymore. I do care in that, one of my businesses, it requires Elementor to function. This isn't my agency. This is another business, a niche business. It requires Elementor. So I do care in some respects, So I'll say that. What I would hope is that they would do a new feature freeze. And I would hope that they would do this sometime during each calendar year, set aside however long, just to stop working on new features shore up those existing core features so we can talk about accessibility, performance, getting those core widgets solidified, maybe working through those ongoing experiments and get that all worked out to, all of that stuff. There's just so much going on, and it's just like, hey, let's just keep these new features coming out, these shiny objects, these bells and whistles to get, users excited, to get the investors excited, things like that, additional revenue, whether it's like the image optimization plugin, the AI, all that crap that they keep throwing in your face. Put all that on pause, focus on the core stuff that is severely lacking. And I'm going to give you one example. And I just posted a bunch of feature requests, which I am going to get to in a second. I am not doing that anymore. Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second. But global widgets. Let's look at global widgets. You can't rename them. You can't rename them without getting into the database. Some of this I just can't even believe some of this is true, right? Can't bulk delete. It's you go in there, if let's say you have 50 that you need to get rid of, you're clearing out a site or whatever the case may be, you can't bulk delete them. You got to go one by one and delete them. You can't edit them in line. This is a major feature request right now. If you go to a page where there is a global widget, you have to click on it. You have to, it's just a mess. Like you can't edit it right in there and see the changes. You have to go in there and you have to unlink it to edit it, which makes it no longer a global widget, at least on that piece of content where it exists. You should be able to edit global widgets. Like it's where they, it's whatever. Anyway, so the other piece of that is you can't search via Ajax. So for example, if you want to go into the WordPress dashboard and you want to do a search for, let's say, global widgets, and you go to the global widgets tab and you do a search, it doesn't just search right then and there through your global widgets. It takes you to a tab called all templates, and it shows you other templates that you didn't even want to search for. You bring that up to Elementor and they say that, like, screw you, we're not, like, that's how it works. Like, no discussion, that's how it works. Forget about it. Okay, moving on. Release communication transparency. Elementor's lack of transparency is concerning, to say the least. Let's look at the version that just dropped yesterday, 3.23.3. All it says, literally, I have it up on my screen here, fix, UI fixes to improve user experience. What are we fixing? What should we look for when we apply this update? To see if anything breaks, to see those improvements, to get excited about those improvements. What are we doing here? Now, this, I'm guessing, it's just a guess because I have no idea, because I was actually thought I was supposed to be communicated. I was told I was going to be communicated once the changes were going to start coming out to allow us to turn off AI or to get rid of some of the adverts, the nags for all of the upsells. I'm assuming this, based on the timing, that's what this is, but I didn't get my communication saying that's what this is. Ryan, I'd like your feedback, which again, that's what I was told. I'm going to communicate to you that this is happening, what you and many hundreds of other people have requested, and I would like your feedback. I never got that. So if that's not what this is, then what is this? If that is what this is, where's my email? What are we talking about here? Okay, so now let's compare this to Bricks. Here is a changelog for a minor release. You see how they go into detail and they talk about stuff? Just, you can scroll through here. And the only reason I'm going to be bringing up Bricks, and you're going to see Breakdance mentioned too, is because I'm pretty sure that that's the natural progression. If you've started with Elementor and you're looking to leave it, it's like one of those two things, I think, is what people are tending to go with. I'm not 100% sure on that, but based on everything I'm seeing, that's the case. All right, so let's compare Breakdance. All right, let's go to this minor release. Let's do a security update. Look how thorough they are about this stuff. Okay, let's pick a non-security release that is a minor release. So let's go 161. That would be a minor release. Log into the customer portal to download. Okay, that's cool. That's not actually that. post meta terms not opening. That's straightforward. That's clear, like what that fix is. Fix server error on some configurations. All right. But it's like some of these don't require more than a one line, right? There they have a whole video. That's more of a big release. Let's go. There's not really a lot of minor releases to compare here. Anyway, look at the bricks thing most of all. That is the best comparison, I guess, in this case. But when you have a one-liner that has to do with the UI, like you need, like we need more than a one line. Like that, there's nothing that we can draw from this that help us tell us what we should be looking for. Yeah. Anyway, bug and feature request platform. So when I talked about the mental health side of things, this is what I'm talking about. Like absolute disaster. If you go file a bug report or a feature request, good luck. Like it was draining, frustrating, a lot of different adjectives that I could use. It's just bad. Elementor's platform for bugs and feature requests is an overall bad situation. Search for Elementor feature requests. So if we did a search, actually it's not even a link. I don't know why it's not coming up. There we go. Search for Elementor feature requests. So you're going to get this, right? Send your feature request. Everything down here's other stuff. If you are not familiar with GitHub, you're not going to know what this stuff is right here. Again, this video is more for for agency, so I'm going to know what that is. But let's just say you didn't, and you go here, send your feature request. Okay. Okay, you get another link. Okay, now let's go here to GitHub. Okay, so now we are in the actual code area for the plugin. All right, where do I go next? Okay, luckily I know you need to go to discussions. Once you get in discussions, here you go. Here's your feature request area. Okay, so when you compare that to Bricks, this is the search for Bricks feature request. All right, what do we have at the very top? It's a nice link. It goes right to their feature request, which is a more user-friendly situation. It is a more of a community aspect to it versus a dictatorship, which go submit a feature request in Elementor. See the experience. It's not good. Like it's not friendly. It's not welcoming. It goes against their own code of conduct, which we'll get into in a bit. It's nothing like Bricks, for example. Okay. Now let's click on Breakdance. Okay. Oh, there we go. Right at the very top, we have a link. Go right into here. It's a more friendly experience overall, just the way that it's presented, the way that things are communicated. If you dive into any of these, which I have, it's more of a discussion. It's not a dictatorship. It's just a better overall experience. Elementor's code of conduct, which I alluded to in a second. Let's look at this. And specifically, I want to look at first our pledge, which I am saying is BS. There is no our in the our pledge. There's no our, okay? Our pledge, in the interest of fostering an open, inclusive, and welcoming environment we strive to maintain in all collaborative spaces, an undiscriminatory and harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of blah, 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 blah. The thing that I want to draw attention to is the our pledge. There is no our. If you go in here into the feature requests and you look, there is one person, seemingly one person, that is the end-all, be-all, holds all the keys to the kingdom of what's declared a bug, what is an actual valid feature request, and so on and so forth. There's no our, okay? There needs to be an our. There needs to be more of a discussion. There needs to be more resources put towards this from the Elementor side of things. I recently found out that they power however many millions of websites. Let's find that out. I think it's in the 10 millions maybe. Elementor powers millions of websites. Let's see what comes up there. Here we go. There were 13 million websites built with Elementor, but you get the idea. It's a ton of websites are built with Elementor. But I recently found out they have a team in the low hundreds. So maybe that's part of the problem, but it is not this hour pledge. It's not hour. It's just one person in here, and from my experience. Okay. All right. Expected behavior. It goes both, and I made a note, it goes both ways, Elementor. So let's go down here. Let's go to expected behaviors. We're here to create a positive and welcoming environment. I have not seen that, okay, at all, period. Always be respectful, show empathy, respect differing opinions, give and accept feedback gracefully. This one's one of my favorites. Apologize for mistakes. Like, are we 5 years old? Are we 10 years old? Come on, guys. And focus on keeping all spaces welcoming for all contributors by following our guidelines above. Okay, again, you guys, shouldn't say you guys. The person managing the bug area and the feature request area of Elementor does not abide by the code of conduct. He is not following the expected behaviors himself. Dive in there and look. It's not happening, okay? Here's an example. Automatic regeneration of Elementor data. I filed a feature request the other day. That is where a lot of this mental health stuff I'm mentioning comes into play. It was like the final straw in the mental health aspect. I couldn't take it anymore. They blamed it on caching, this particular thing. I don't want to get into the technical weeds, but they blamed it on caching. So I told them that clearing the caching doesn't fix it. They continued, they doubled down and blamed it on caching. Somebody else chimed in, blamed it on caching. What I got back from Elementor, this one person, was an irresponsible one-liner from this person saying, yeah, it's caching. No discussion at that point. Maybe it happened later. I got rid of, I'm off. I'm not even on GitHub any longer. Get to that in a second. At the time when this was all going on, this person from the Elementor side of things gave an irresponsible, in my opinion, a one-liner saying, yeah, it's caching. No discussion. It can't be Elementor's fault. It's Elementor caching. The other person in there, I assume is just a random user, suggested installing a plugin that had only 300 active installs in the WordPress repo. Compare that to the millions and millions of Elementor websites. You're telling me that of all of those millions of Elementor websites, to solve this issue, we need to install a plugin that has less than, like in the low hundreds of installs across all WordPress websites? That doesn't make sense. And that was followed up by this irresponsible one-liner from the Elementor employee. They didn't debunk what this person was saying. There was no conversation. It's just, yeah, it's caching. Okay. Can't have that. Like it's got to be more than that. So I went over the recommendation there by that one person. And I'm going to be clear. The recommendation for that cache busting plugin came from, I think it was just a regular user. And then it was not debunked by the Elementor employee. Okay. Lastly, Brix solved this issue in June of 2023. So over a year ago, yet Elementor is still, pushing back, saying it's caching with a one-liner. Okay. My suggestion was, hey, if this is a broad issue, which it clearly is, if you Google this issue, you'll see that developers are out there trying to find a way to circumvent, to create scripts, to create code, to create plugins, whatever, to fight this issue because it's an issue. And instead of Elementor coming out and being transparent and saying this is an issue, let's discuss what's your hosting, what levels of caching are you using? Are you using a CDN? Are you using plugin for your caching? What server are you using? There's none of that. It's just they don't bring it up. They don't even address it until you make it a feature request. And then they don't follow their own code of conduct and they make you feel like you're an idiot It's only your website that's facing this issue. It can't possibly be an Elementor issue. It's got to be somebody else's issue. There's no discussion. It's just finger pointing, a dictatorship. Okay, and that's just one example. I had enough, and the only reason I signed up for a GitHub account, I'm not a developer, so I don't need GitHub. Sure, there's resources on there that you can take advantage of with a GitHub account, but I only signed up for a GitHub account for submitting bugs and feature requests to Elementor, which is stupid, by the way, that you have to do that. You know, it should not be on GitHub in my opinion, but whatever. So all that to say that I deleted my GitHub account. It's gone. I am not taking any part in that anymore. It is a dead end. Good luck. If you're an agency trying to get your voice heard in there, good luck. All right, community. The Elementor Facebook group. I was in there from the very beginning, watched it grow. I left the group. I was given the Elementor expert badge in there. I left the group knowing all full and well that I would give up that Elementor expert badge, which is absolutely fine. The reason I left is because I was frustrated and I felt like I couldn't make a difference. You know, so for example, if someone posted a question of like that, you know, I had an answer to based on my, you know, many years of supporting hundreds of WordPress websites, that I knew the answer to the question and I knew the best practice for the particular question. And then you would get 20 other responses from people just trying to make a name for themselves, just trying to gamify the system to, you know, get that top contributor badge, get this, get that, you know, maybe even they're trying just to work up to get the expert badge, you know. And a lot of times that advice was just horrendous. Like, and you know, and it's like, what do? You try to go in and say, hey, that's terrible advice, but then you're mean for saying to somebody that it's terrible advice. But on the other hand, you're allowing people to get that bad advice and go down a bad road. And I just got tired of it. Like I got frustrated. Like I said, felt like I couldn't make a difference. Elementor wasn't doing anything to foster a better environment to, you know, to double check some of the answers in a lot of the cases. And just, it's a glorified support board. It's a way to offload support burden and get, you know, let their community provide free support, but it's terrible support in a lot of cases. So I left. I had enough. Whatever, is what it is. I joined again recently because I was hopeful. There was hope that all of this awareness I was bringing towards the AI issue and not being able to turn that off as an agency and the problems that it causes, all of the adverts that are constantly thrown in our face. I thought, based on my live stream here recently with Matt Medeiros, which again, thank you, Matt, for that platform. That was really awesome. I was hopeful that, and I was told things were going to change for the better. But I showed you that feature release that just came out, and I think that's related to it. But again, I went over my issues with that. So I'm done, you know, right? I'm done. So I left the group again this morning, so I'm done. No need for me to be in that group anymore. Say one thing, do another. There are well-known influencers, we'll call them, on YouTubers. I'm not going to say names, but this person is probably in the top 2. He may be the top 1 influencer in all of YouTube that promotes Elementor. I can say and prove that this person is reselling Elementor licenses. I can prove that this person is offering Elementor licenses as part of his courses. I have brought this to the attention of Elementor. Again, why do I even care? It's like I just cared too much, I guess. I don't know why I didn't care. This person's not a competitor of mine. Like, it's not to be a tattletale. It's just, again, it's just principle, right? This person is out there. He's an affiliate, but he's doing wrong by Elementor, right? You report it. You're supposed to report it, right? Elementor said, yeah, we will look into that. Nothing ever became of it. It was still being advertised on his courses. He was still advertising how he was reselling it. Hey, you want a license? I'll sell you one, right? I circled back with him, gave them 3 months, said, hey, like, did you guys do anything? Oh, we take this really seriously. We are going to something to our legal team. I'm like, no, I'm not saying I am doing this, guys. Like, they started throwing threats at me. I'm like, no, reread what I wrote. You guys said 3 months ago that you were going to go and say something to this person. I'm not saying that I'm doing it. They're doing it. Oh, they apologize. We'll go check on that. They never did anything. So they're saying one thing and doing another. They are choosing advertising over policy. So they don't care. And long story short, they don't care if you resell their plugin, give it away as part of, a course, if it doesn't go by their, even if it doesn't abide by their terms of service or whatever. So basically, like, I'm not advocating for it, but they're not going to do anything. Like, they're going to say one thing and they're going to do another. They chose this person's free advertising for their solution as an affiliate over doing the right thing. So whatever, that is what that is. What's next? So things that I will do for my agency website, and I'm going to document the whole process as I go along, as I get my agency away from Elementor. So my agency site is built on it. My other business is built on it. So I'm going to get away from it, obviously. And then as part of that journey, I'm going to document it, get everything ready for new clients that I onboard, the existing Elementor sites that are out there on my agency side of things. WP turned up. Now, like I said, I've got the other business that it relies on Elementor. There's nothing that's going to be done there. That is what it is. I'm going to continue supporting those people. I'm going to continue producing content, Elementor-based products, templates, all that stuff. That stuff is not going to stop. But on my agency side of things, where I do have the control and I do have more of a say and all of that stuff, I'm moving on, okay? So I'll document that whole process. One of the things I'm doing is ensuring that there is zero reliance on Elementor other than, templates. So what do I mean by that? So if you look at this post, this is all the content is entered via WordPress block editor. So everything you see here from the title, and then we'll skip this right here, and then everything after that, all the way down to the bottom of the page. This is all entered into the WordPress block editor. It's just headings and it's text. Okay, that's all it is. Except for down here, we have a video. So this is a YouTube embed block. So that's all that is. And I've just applied some simple CSS for a border. But one of the things that this allows me to do is it's going to pull from those thumbnails, and I no longer need to upload a thumbnail to the Elementor widget, YouTube widget, the video widget. So that's going to be some savings there on performance. And you could lazy load that, but it's going to save on performance. More important, it's going to save on time. I don't need to create those extra thumbnails to add to here. So this looks great, the way that WordPress is doing this out of the box. Over here on the right-hand side, my Elementor template is bringing this in, and my Elementor template is bringing this in and bringing this in. So I'm going to find ways around that, but it's going to be zero reliance. These templates are fine. I can do this with whatever that next tool of choice is going to be. I can do that. It's not a problem. But the main thing is the core content. So making sure that all across the board, we are not relying on Elementor for any of this. The menus, same thing, going through the menu system in WordPress and making sure that once I swap out whatever it is that I do for the headings and stuff like that, that menu system is 100% just on the WordPress side of things, and you're not building out just custom headers with Elementor, with say icon lists, things like that, instead of actual proper nav widgets and all that stuff. Just making sure all of that is in place and ready to go for when I flip the switch, and so on and so forth. What else did I say here? Code blocks. So that was another thing. So I've got code snippets, and I needed to find a way to, before I was using Elementor, so to using their widget for adding code, so CSS, whatever, and it was a way for me to share code snippets with clients and customers. So I found a really nice WordPress block plugin for doing that. So I've got that part taken care of. I just now need to go through all of my snippet posts and convert those over to blocks. So that's another thing. There's probably other things I'm missing, but the main thing is ensuring zero reliance on Elementor for anything before the switch is flipped. Simplifying things. Notes, for example, I was using a widget within Elementor to really make those my notes, or like important notices, pop off the screen. So I've just started simplifying things, putting notes, the word note in bold. I think I could show you here. I think I can do search for note right there. So the word note is in bold, and then it's the only thing, most likely the only thing there in italics. So that's how I'm going to do notes for important notes for the time being, just simplifying things, not using individual widgets for that. Video block I already covered, how I've simplified that. And just going all through the site and ensuring that there's no Elementor reliance on anything whatsoever. Okay. Last thing here I want to mention is, Elementor replacement. I have no idea what I'm going to do. This part I'm excited about. It's like, now that I can finally, I've made the decision, I'm moving forward, after this video and make a post, I do a post on it. Then the excitement kicks in, because I'm going to be really looking forward to playing with new tools. I've got a lifetime license for Bricks that I have never touched. I'm really interested, and I've got that right here listed. I'm really interested also in Ollie Pro. So I would say both of those two are at the same level as far as my excitement, and getting in and seeing which one I want to go with long term. But I'm really excited to play with these new tools. I just keep hearing about how amazing, how powerful they are, and how closer they are to, to WordPress core, and that's important to me. Really excited about that. And then, breakdance is a close second, I would say. And the only reason for that, if I'm being honest, is because I hear it's a natural progression for a lot of people that like Elementor overall, as far as the tool side of things goes, not the feature requests, the bugs, the whole GitHub experience, the community, all, just talking strictly about the technology side of things. But definitely going to start with Bricks and Ollie and see what's what there, and see what feels right, and make a decision, and then I can move on, and then I can do, my tutorial videos about how I've made the switch, in case anyone's interested on that, and just moving on, just more positive, getting on to more positive things, tutorials, insights, all of that stuff, because this is it's been a drain mentally, and it has to stop, and it stops literally right now, after I end the recording here and get the post out about it. And I'm going to move on. I'm probably going to take a break for a while, as far as I'm not going to just dive in tomorrow into Bricks and Ollie. Just going to sit for a little bit, take a breather, focus on the businesses that I'm running. It is summer. It's Friday for one. It is summer for another, and just take a little breather and figure out what's going to come next. But once next week, once I start firing these new tools up, the excitement is going to be there. I know for a fact. I've been using Elementor since it came out, like I said, 6 years ago, I think it is. And yeah, I'll be excited, and it'll be full steam ahead once I get going with that. There's a lot of things that'll need to change. I mean, I've just hinged so much of my business and businesses on this tool that just a lot of moving parts, a lot of things are going to need to happen, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. Feel free to reach out to me just go to the WP Turned Up website. That's the easiest way. There's a contact form here if you want to chat about something. I've recently dabbled in, started getting into more of Twitter X, loving that experience. So you can find me over there on Pine Digital Co. over there. And the other thing I'll mention before I get off here is along those lines. So Pine Digital Co. is just kind of like my umbrella company, where it's like everything that I'm interested in and working on is underneath there. One of the things you'll notice here as this thing slides around is policy proof. Or sorry, not policy proof. That is one thing I'm very interested in. Influence WP. See that right here? I am open to, feel free to reach out to me. Like I say, Pine Digital Co. on Twitter X. I'm open to collaborations and stuff like that. I'm working through all the details. I'm just thinking through everything, but I'm planning on, as a way to give back to WordPress even more, is a website platform, whatever you want to call it, for facilitating positive change in WordPress. If you've been following along recently in the news and things like that, people are very frustrated. The GitHub experience that I have faced with Elementor is not just an Elementor thing, unfortunately. People are facing issues with how they contribute, or how they feel like they can't contribute to WordPress. So I've got some ideas, and if you've had some ideas in this area too, and you want to collaborate on something, feel free to reach out and we can chat about that. Okay. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it helps. All right, see you later.